Welcome to the lesson on materials and inventory. Upon completing this lesson, learners will be able to explain the importance of supply chain management and identify the participants in a company's supply chain. Learners will also be able to define the role of communication and economic order quantity in supply chain management. Material is the basic component that is transformed into finished products. A company may buy materials from external sources or produce them internally. Often, this raw material needs to be stored before it can be used for production. How does a company order raw materials? Where should the excess material be stored? All these questions are associated with the concept of supply chain. When a company has more materials than it can currently use, these materials are stored as inventory, also known as stock. Inventory can be any items that the company wishes to store, such as raw materials, half-finished products, also known as work in process, abbreviated as WIP, or finished goods. There are two main reasons why a company would choose to hold excess inventory. First, demand for products can fluctuate. One month may have low demand and the next may see a high demand. To address this, companies may keep an inventory of raw materials and finished goods in case of sudden demand increases. Second is the concept of economies of scale. The more items you buy at once, the less it costs per item. If more raw materials are purchased at once, they can be bought at a discounted rate. Some companies will take advantage of this by purchasing excess materials and storing them as inventory. However, there are also reasons why a company would not want to have a large inventory. These inventory items must be physically stored somewhere so that they can be retrieved whenever they are needed. A company must pay money to build and maintain this storage facility for their inventory. Moreover, purchasing excess inventory ties up capital that could be used elsewhere in the business. In some cases, having large inventories may become more costly than beneficial for a company, depending on storage and management expenses. Every organization is connected to other organizations through its supply chain. A supply chain is a group of companies that are linked or together by the flow of goods from raw materials to the final product. Supply chains include manufacturers of goods, suppliers of raw materials, transporters, warehouses, and retailers involved in the product distribution process. A typical supply chain includes all of the following people and/or companies: customers, retailers, distributors, manufacturers, and raw material suppliers. Consider this supply chain example. A customer's purchase of a new car sets in motion a complex network starting from the dealership where the transaction occurs. From there, it extends to the dealership's distribution network, which connects to various auto manufacturers and parts assemblers. At the foundation of this chain are the raw material suppliers who provide essential components like steel, glass, and rubber that make vehicle production possible. A supply chain can get large and complex as the number of entities increases. This slide shows a sample supply chain for an electric vehicle. The chain includes all of the suppliers and manufacturers, as well as all of the retailers and end customers. Think about some of the products you buy frequently. Now, think about how the supply chain for that product might be structured. Communication within every level of the supply chain is critical for effective supply chain management. Daily interaction and support are necessary to address all customer and business production needs. For example, suppose printing instructions for labeling battery packs are not communicated clearly. In that case, workers might accidentally place the labels on the wrong side, leading to confusion about handling and installation, which could result in safety hazards or operational issues during assembly. The flow of information can always change along the supply chain, but with proper communication about updated product specifications, one can reduce room for error. Supply chain management is the control and monitoring of all the activities of a company's supply chain. There are four main aspects of supply chain management. The first aspect is planning. It involves determining how the company will produce products to meet their anticipated demand and how they will order supplies to produce those products. This is the most important phase. In this phase, the company determines how many products it needs to make to meet its demand forecasts. A demand forecast is a prediction of how many products people will buy based on how people have purchased products in the past. The company also determines how and when to make these products so that they can make the most money. The second is to gather materials. In this portion, it is decided how to receive materials from suppliers at the lowest cost. Then comes production, which is manufacturing and building the final products utilizing the various resources. Finally, it is delivery, which refers to shipping the finished products to retailers to be distributed and sold. As part of the planning portion of supply chain management, the company determines how much of each of its required raw materials to purchase to allow it to produce the right number of products. They also consider how much inventory they want to hold depending on how much the demand for their products varies over time. One mathematical equation that helps companies plan how to purchase raw materials is the economic order quantity equation, abbreviated as EOQ. This equation can be used to determine how many units of raw materials to purchase at a given time to spend the least amount of money. The EOQ equation makes some assumptions to simplify a real-world problem down to an easy-to-solve equation. The assumptions are that the demand for the product is constant, the cost of ordering materials is fixed, and the lead time of the supplier is constant. A lead time is the amount of time it takes for a company to receive goods after they have ordered them from their supplier. From the equation, we can determine how many units of materials to order if we know the demand for our finished product, how much it costs to purchase the raw materials, and how much it costs to store inventory. The next slide contains an example that will help you understand how to use the formula. Consider the following example. An EV company needs to order batteries to make their vehicles. The demand for EVs is $200 per month. The fixed cost of ordering batteries is $100, and the cost to hold each battery in inventory is $0.50 per month. How many units of batteries should the company purchase? And how many times per year do they need to purchase batteries? Now here's the approach to answer this question. We know the fixed order cost is $100, so that is our variable C. We also know that our demand rate D is $200 per month and our holding cost H is 20 cents per month. If we plug these variables into our EOQ equation, we find that the company should order approximately 283 units of batteries. Also, from this, we can determine that the company should order this number of batteries 9 times per year to meet its annual demand. The EOQ equation gives you an approximation of how many units to purchase. It does not give you an exact answer. When calculating the order quantity, you must round your answer up or down to fit the situation. In summary, a supply chain includes all the companies and people linked together by a flow of goods, from the material suppliers down to the end customers. It is a key element of the production system. Just as good communication plays a critical role in our everyday lives, it is extremely important for the smooth functioning of the supply chain. Supply chain management helps a company monitor and control the activities of its supply chain. For some companies, it may be more profitable to store a lot of inventory, and for other companies, it may cost more. Determining the desired amount of inventory can help with proper supply chain management. Thank you.